Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. I had a little bit of time to think about it, and honestly, this was a pretty good show. Now, I will say this, if you didn't watch it, or if you did watch it, you'll probably notice that it felt like a lot of things happened in this episode, and it didn't feel overwhelming though, but it felt really, really good. We actually started off with them showing a few of the people who were going to be on the card wrestling coming into the building, and then we see Jay White doing an interview with Renee Paquette, basically talking about, his relationship with Adam Copeland and FTR and them or whatever, how he's pretty much in the mix with these guys. And then while he's talking, this is where they're outside of the building right next to the production trucks, and then here comes Death Riders who come out of the blue. Pac, this man is always ready for whatever, so he's in his ring gear and he's ready to fight. And they end up approaching Jay White, and Jay White is just counting everybody and seeing who all in here to see if he can take everybody on his own, when really, while Death Riders came forward, they did not realize that FTR runners or whoever the hell those people were over there behind them, and then they end up running up to fight. Now, what was interesting though was that Marina, who obviously can't be in this, and Renee Paquette, who is there as well, she's the wife of Jon Moxley, she's not gonna get involved. Renee is standing there, and then Marina comes and snatches her up and lifts her by the waist and runs out while the men start fighting all the way inside into the building, taking it to the ring. They even ended up throwing Pac against the stage, the setup for the stage, like when they have the tunnel on the heel side, and they broke a side of it, and then Pac had this really nasty long red mark on his back. It was crazy. It was a really chaotic way to start off the show, but it felt very exciting at the same time, and like chaotic in a good way. And I was just like, oh, okay, just having a really nice vibe. Now, with all this foolishness going on, we obviously end up getting into the ring, and everybody's fighting all over the ring, everywhere. And then, Adam Copeland, while Death Rider is walking away, was like, hey, bitch, Moxley, you did not tell me if you were going to accept my challenge so I can go against you one-on-one at Revolution for the world title. Jon Moxley gets the microphone, and he's like, no, bitch, I don't think so. I'm busy. And then here comes Jay White taking the microphone and saying that, you know what, him and Copeland, they're cool, and they got obviously issues with y'all, so they're going to end up teaming up to go against Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli at the Australia show. And I was just like, oh, okay. The show for Australia is definitely coming along. I absolutely love this idea. It's called the Brisbane Brawl. Whatever the situation is, Death Rider's gonna get involved, and everybody that's friends with Adam Copeland gonna get involved. So it's gonna be a brawl, but it's gonna be a good one. All right, after this, we do have William, who is in the ring. He is going against a mystery opponent who's supposed to be this new member of the Don Callis family. Everybody has had their guests, some really wild guests, and some more expected guests. And it turns out to be Mark Davis. Now, I'm cool with it. I have no problem with this. As a matter of fact, the boys are together again, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. Oh my God. Aussie Open, I missed y'all. But anyway, I was cool with it being Mark Davis. My problem here was nothing really built up to Mark Davis actually coming to that conclusion to join in the Don Callis family after the last time we seen Mark Davis was, okay, well, that was the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, but before that, he was teaming up with Ricochet and Powerhouse Hobbs to go against the Don Callis family. So I don't know what the hell was that about, but all of a sudden, now he's with Don Callis family. Okay, fine, we'll take it. The match was actually not bad. Mark Davis did have some moments of domination here, but in my opinion, something felt a little flat about it, because it just seems like, okay, Mark Davis just joined the dark side for the fuck of it, and he's just there. And the predictability of knowing that Williams going to take the win kind of took the fun out of it. I felt like what they should have did was have him go against someone, anybody, I don't give a fuck who it is, someone who could actually afford the win, and then have Mark Davis come out at the end of the match, or to fucking interfere, whatever, and end up attacking William, and then we see that he is the new member of the Don Callis family. Whatever, they didn't do that. After the match, we had Kenneth, who came out there. Kenneth with his brand new shirt. Unfortunately, didn't take it off, but he ends up being in the ring with what's his name, William, and he goes on to say to Don Callis when Fletcher and Takeshita come out, they was ready to attack them, but Uncle Don was just like, you know what, let's just hold off. Let's hold off because y'all gonna fight in 10 days. Now, he goes on to say that this was going to be his first match back in AEW. Kenny Omega is tired, y'all. Don't blame him. He don't even know what century we in. And he was gracing us with his presence, with this little promo. Honestly, I didn't care for it. I didn't really care for it at all. And I wish that Mark Davis, something could have been a little bit better about this match. Not bad, but we still got stories to tell, and I would prefer to hear some really good stories. So we'll see what ends up happening with Mark Davis, part of the Don Callis family. All right, so after this, we do have the Hurt Syndicate coming out there with their suits and the titles. They just, oh my God, oozing of black excellence. They look amazing. Tony Khan, whoever the photographers back there, please take pictures of them with these suits. They look so good. Long story short, basically they're saying, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl this weekend. We just came to say hello, goodbye. We have other things to do. And when they get back, that, they'll take care of business. Now, all of a sudden music plays, and it is the Guns. Yes, the Ass Boys who come out. They look good. Baby oil, nicely tanned. They've been at the gym. I am loving the way that they look. They came on out there, basically letting it be known that, hey, we haven't touched these titles since, 2 years, I think they said, or maybe a little bit less, and that they would love to get their hands on the titles again. And I was really impressed by how they stood in front of the gun, in front of Hurt Syndicate. And, they didn't get killed or anything, but they were able to be firm and saying, hey, we want to get some title shots. Now, surprise, surprise, they ended up accepting and saying that it's for next week. That I didn't like, because I'm like, so soon, like these guys have been gone for months. They're back, and then all of a sudden, here we are with them just going to get their ass dominated by the Hurt Syndicate next week. I wish we could have put a little bit more into this as a story for the Ass Boys, and not by them getting their ass whooped as soon as they get back from injury. So that I didn't care too much for. So now, after this, we do have Harley Cameron, who is back with the puppet of Mercedes Moné, basically being cute and wanting to have her opportunity to go against Mercedes. Mercedes come out of her locker room, and she is just not feeling this whole puppet thing. The puppet thing is cute, but the puppet shoes is not cute. After this, we do have Hangman, who's doing an interview with Renee, basically saying, hey, I had a little moment of weakness with Christopher Daniels, and for some reason I haven't been as unhinged as I could be, and that basically things are back to normal. And while he's talking, Max Caster is sitting in a corner somewhere waiting for his time to be interviewed, like anybody wants to hear a damn thing from him. And he gets to stand in front of Hangman, and I'm just like, look, Hangman, whoop his ass for all of us, okay? Please do. Now, Max Caster is actually recommending that Hangman could, go ahead and be unhinged by whooping Daddy Ass's ass, or even Anthony Bowens. While I don't care if any of these guys get their ass whooped, it would be nice to see Max Caster get his ass whooped. Now, Max ended up actually saying, you know what, I'm leaving, I'm going to go to the car. And then Adam Page said, you know what, I'll come with you. Now, cameraman don't even follow them, and I wanted to see if he was going to get his ass whooped, but we'll get back to this in a moment. After this tag team action, we had the Hounds of Hell, which is Brody King and Buddy Matthews. Oh my God, they're so beautiful. Oh my God, these men, Lord. They went against Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, who also look good as well. To be honest with you, neither one of these teams could actually take an L, because Buddy, being a Hounds of Hell, who's looking to get his hands on Okada for the Continental title, and then we have Takeshita and Fletcher, who are going to be having a match with Kenneth and William, so they can't lose this either. Uncle Don graces us with his voice on commentary, thank God, because honestly, I'm tired of all these other people on commentary. They're lame to me. And the match was actually pretty good. And I'm looking at this, I'm just like, damn, well, what's going to happen? Maybe some type of shenanigans where the match doesn't even finish. Maybe some type of interference or something of that sort. However, we had Brody Kane getting pinned because obviously we got to protect Buddy Matthews, who's supposed to be going against Okada for the Continental title in Australia. Not bad of a match. After this, Samoa Joe was babysitting Hook again. They're walking backstage and they're looking for our stepdaddy's locker room. They end up finding it. But when they get there, it's some ugly ass locker room too. For whatever reason, Christian does are better than that. And it basically looks like some kind of broom closet or some shit. Then when they get there, Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne are there. So Hook and Samoa Joe ends up attacking them, beating them up. And then all of a sudden, you can see Christian and Mama Wayne. They walk into the room. No one notices that they walked into the room. And when they see that they're getting their asses whooped, they end up leaving and hiding in the corner to act like they had no clue what was going on because Christian doesn't want to get attacked. Mama Wayne can't get attacked, so they did what they had to do. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So when they end up hiding, then Samoa Joe and Hook decide they finish and they end up leaving. And then that's when Christian walks in the room. He said, what the hell just happened? I don't know what happened. I just got here. And I'm just like, wow, that is crazy that he would just let them get their ass whooped by these two guys. But I honestly totally understand. Samoa Joe, stay away from Hook. I'm bored. All right. And this, I mean... where do I even begin? MJF again coming out here talking about Jeff Jarrett. MJF, I love to see you. I really do. But this is just, I don't even know whose idea is it to keep going with this. He's talking shit about Jeff Jarrett. And while he's talking, Max Caster got into the ring for whatever reason. I don't know. He's running away from Hangman. Hangman ended up coming out. And Max Caster runs out the ring. And now it's just MJF and Hangman in the ring having a little tease, a little stare down with each other, and the Hangman ends up leaving. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I can't wait till they get this little thing done with these two, because that's really the payoff out of this whole thing. I'm guessing Tony Khan just like, hey, we're going to give you MJF and Hangman, but you're going to have to suffer through whatever we're doing with Jeff Jarrett right now, which I'm over. And to make it worse, absolutely worse, Dustin Rhodes came on out there pretty much doing the same thing that Jeff Jarrett has been doing, which is obviously have led up to a match between MJF and Dustin for next week. Dustin Rhodes, personally, I don't even care. It's not even about age or none of that shit. Dustin Rhodes had 2 sets of titles in Ring of Honor. We can't even pay this guy to be on Ring of Honor, but he has time to be wasting and being on fucking Dynamite. Tony Khan, what the hell are you doing? I honestly am freaking over it. Max is going to whoop his ass anyway next week, so I'm not even worried about it. Now, after they get into a scuffle, the use of security guards being useless and barely able to keep them away from each other, MJF's scarf comes off, and unfortunately people just stepping on it like it's not a Burberry scarf. What's wrong with y'all people? Y'all don't see a scarf of quality? Nobody's going to just stop what they were doing and pick up the scarf? Anyway, I'm over that whole thing. Now, we do have Queen Aminata versus Toni Storm. Toni Storm came out dressed as Mariah May. Mariah May is on commentary. Toni Storm looked, I don't even have the words to describe how Toni Storm looked in that gear. Fucking amazing. 2 weeks ago, y'all were over here calling that lady fat and everything. And then this week, she shut everybody the fuck up with Mariah May's gear on. Mariah can never look that good in her own fucking gear. Sorry, Mariah, we love you, but I was speechless just looking at her like, holy shit, she looked amazing. Had a really great match with Queen Aminata. Didn't think it would even last that long because really, we're already down to like the last 25 minutes or so of the show. Mariah May is watching and she is talking shit about Toni, but Toni is dressed up as her. She has the extensions to look like Mariah, the gear and everything, and even using Mariah's move in this match. Queen Aminata has some really great moments here, but we already know, predictability. Obviously, Toni Storm ends up taking the win with the Mayday. Now, after this, they're getting into a shouting match, and then the crowd is saying, which one's Mariah? Which is which? Who's Mariah? And Mariah got so upset because the crowd don't know which is the real Mariah. She grabs the title. She ends up pretty much crying. And she's like, I'm Mariah. I'm the real Mariah. It was so great. And Toni Storm was mimicking Mariah in the ring. She looked fucking amazing. Oh my God, Toni Storm. Who would have ever thought that she would have taken this character and just fucking run with it. This is some of the best things that I've actually seen a wrestler do in recent times, and I am so amazed every time she comes out there. As much as I'm loving this story and can't wait to see the match between these two girls, I really want to see a lot more of all the other girls on the roster too. After this, they bored the hell out of us with Chris Jericho New York Minute. They're outside near the ring and they're talking. Yep. I don't have time for it. And then out of the blue, here comes Powerhouse Hobbs, who comes out to attack Big Bill. Obviously, the Outrunners come out to even things up. The useless security guards are out here once again. Powerhouse Hobbs has a knee brace on over the jeans, and the crowd is actually loving it. I'm actually really looking forward to see what happens between Big Bill and Powerhouse Hobbs. We got two meaty men in the ring, and that's what we love, and they're brawling. Now, security guards obviously over there to pretty much, do whatever they can do about that. And I don't know where it's going, because I thought Powerhouse Hobbs was injured to the point that he was going to be gone for quite some time. But he's back and he's getting into action. And honestly, Tony Khan, forget the Australia show, because I don't give a fuck about that. Let's wait till Revolution to give Big Bill and Powerhouse Hobbs a big pay-per-view moment. That would be really, really cool if we can stretch that out until Revolution so we can see these two guys go at it. I don't want to see this on Dynamite. I don't want to see this on Collision. I don't want to see this on Ring of Honor. Put it on the motherfucking pay-per-view. These guys deserve that type of TV time. After this, we are less than 10 minutes left of the show. Less than 10 minutes. And Swerve coming out. Swerve coming out. For what reason? I didn't like that. I was like, you know what, Tony Khan, as long as you pay the overtime money, whatever. We'll take it. Swerve comes out. And before he can even really take a couple of steps away from the stage, Ricochet comes out and attacks Swerve from behind. And the match is on. This was obviously the best match of the night, and that's what it should be for a main event. But I will say this, but because they were like really pressed for time, and even though there's overtime money, they ain't dropping the fucking bank for the overtime money. So it's not that much overtime that they were going to use. So you can feel like the match was very quick paced, okay? Very quick paced, but not in a bad way. If they had more time, I think we could have seen a much slower pace from the two of them. Man, Ricochet was really on top after that attack, and then Swerve ended up giving him a powerbomb on the fucking barricade, and holy shit, my back hurt by looking at that. Man, these two guys, they really gave it their all. Maybe not even all their all, but they gave us so much where it's just like you're kind of at the edge of your seat, and I'm just like, Ricochet, I love Swerve. I love me some Swerve, but you need this motherfucking win. And he actually ended up taking the win. And it just seemed like no matter what they do, their finishers over and over again, they were just not getting the win. But Swerve ends up getting pinned by Ricochet and takes the win. Now, to add insult to injury here, after the match, while Swerve is laid out there, Ricochet picks up the embassy robe, the one that Jimmy Rave used to wear, and he puts it on. And he ends up leaving with that robe. And I was just like, oh shit. For me, I wish that people understood the significance of this robe and what it means to Prince Nana and obviously Swerve. And I think that if the crowd truly knew that, they would have definitely booed Ricochet out the building, which would have been really, really nice. Little things like this is important for them to... They could have manipulated things where, like on Collision or even earlier in Dynamite, where they can mention something about the robe and the significance, where now that the crowd can feel some way about it emotionally, because now that they know about it. And then later on, by the time that match was over and Ricochet ended up taking the robe, then we would have seen how the crowd could have really reacted towards that. Really great episode of Dynamite. If you missed it, go ahead and check it out. I absolutely recommend it. One of the better ones that they've had in a long time. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Ring of Honor. Hopefully it's going to be a good episode. See you guys then. Bye.